If you're an avid sports fan like me, you may end up losing your voice after your favorite team finishes up a close game. And that's just what many ways we can become hoarse.
Here with more this morning is Dr. Darrell Klotz with Charlotte Eye, Ear, Nose, and Throat Associates. Good morning to you, and thanks for being here today.
Thanks for having me.
Let's talk about hoarseness. You say it's a symptom, it's not a condition. What are things that can lead us to become hoarse?
Right. So, hoarseness is the complaint that you come to me with, and our job is to find out why. And so the most common is swelling of the vocal folds. You can get that way from overuse, talking too much. You can get that way with a cold, typical kind of swelling with an illness. There are other things like polyps, nodules, and cysts that are small growths on the vocal cords. And of course, the thing that is on everybody's mind is, do I have cancer? Which is fairly rare unless you're doing something to really promote that, like smoking and drinking too much alcohol. But nonetheless, it's on everybody's mind. That is the first question they ask. There are other things, such as just natural aging of the vocal cords, that really lead to some hoarseness or some weakness in the voice as we age. There's also things like vocal cord paralysis after trauma. So there are a number of things that need to be investigated.
Okay. You mentioned swelling. How much do they swell up your vocal cords? They swell up like noticeably big, or what?
So it's visible, absolutely, when we look at the vocal cords when you come to our office. Only a very small amount of swelling can cause a change in pitch or a little bit of raspiness or a little bit of vocal fatigue, a little strain.
I heard that acid reflux may have something to do with it also.
Yes, so that's one of the things that can cause some swelling of the vocal cords. It's really not the typical reflux that you might think, like heartburn and indigestion,
yes,
that we might get after a really large meal or eating certain foods. But there are a certain segment of people who get what we call atypical reflux that actually is called laryngopharyngeal reflux, and it comes all the way up from the stomach into the throat, and it can cause symptoms like hoarseness, a lump in the throat, a little bit of difficulty swallowing. It can also cause a little bit of a sore throat as well.
So you mentioned smoking, obviously, drinking too much alcohol, sometimes eating rich foods, a lot of rich foods, that can affect it too?
Rich foods, citrusy, acidic foods, peppermint, chocolate, alcohol, all the good stuff.
You're just ruining my holidays, Dr. Klotz.
all the good stuff.
It's all the good stuff. And they all typically come together, right?
Yeah.
A big meal, all of those things, rich, heavy dessert,
Right.
It's all bundled into one.
Well, and as you're saying this, I think this is what we're about, the season that we're entering into now with Thanksgiving coming up next week, and then Christmas season, of course, we are going to a lot of parties and might be overindulging. So can hoarseness get worse during this time because of those things?
Absolutely. You can have a little bit of acid reflux from that delicious meal, and then you go to an office party, you have a glass of wine, and those parties are very loud. And so one of the great enemies of the voice is talking over loud noise. And you have to raise that level of speaking for an extended period of time.
So let me ask you this. When can hoarseness be a sign of something more serious?
So if it persists longer than a few weeks, if it's beyond what you would typically think, say you were out coaching a sports team or at a cocktail party and your hoarseness was still going on several weeks later, it didn't get better within a few days, like you would think, then you should really have it examined. You should have your vocal cords examined. You should get a better answer than just waiting.
And not just swallowing warm water doesn't work, right? It doesn't like...
Well, it can help make it feel better, but it's really doing nothing for that swelling. It's really a matter of time. And so vocal rest is really important when you feel like your voice is more hoarse than it is.
My family would love me to take a vocal rest. I think that my husband and kids would be delighted. Call Charlotte Eye, Ear, Nose, and Throat Associates. The number is 704-295-3000. Again, 704-295-3000. You can also visit their website, wejustmakesense.com. wejustmakesense.com. Dr. Darrell Klotz, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
All right.